10 abducted victims rescued in Zamfara as troops disband bandits. President Tinubu directs immediate reopening of Nigeria-Niger border. Other security personnel to rescue abducted Kaduna students without ransom. On the foreign scene, United Kingdom plans to pay asylum seekers to move to Rwanda. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. I am Aisha Salihu. We begin with security stories where troops of the Joint Task Force Operation Hadarin Daji have rescued 10 abducted victims in Safi town of Safi local government area of Zamfara state following a successful disbandment of their hideout. Information Officer Operation Hadarin Daji in Zamfara, Lieutenant Suleiman Omale, said in a statement on Wednesday that the troops displayed remarkable valor and dedication during the operation, resulting in the dispatching of the bandits. Omale said the OPHD team had responded to a distress call on the night of March 12, 2024, and had engaged the bandits in a fierce gun duel upon arrival in Safi town. He added that the troops overpowered the bandits, forcing them to flee with gunshot wounds through a rocky bush, abandoning all 10 abducted individuals. Omale noted that during subsequent mop-up patrols in the area, the troops intercepted and successfully rescued all the 10 victims and reunited them with their families. And now joining us via phone, we have Daily Trust Regional Editor, Yushau Adamu, to give us an update. Thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour, Yushau.
Thank you, Aisha.
Now, I'd like for you to give us the update on the situation in Safi. I mean, is there a level of stability in the area at the moment?
Well, there is stability because people are happy with the recent development of rescue of some kidnapped victims. Unfortunately, the morning today, another group of bandits abducted some people around Safi. Two vehicles were stopped and evacuated all the passengers. But regarding this development, they are very happy because what they always are calling for is for the troops to go to the bandits' enclaves so that they can and rescue their victims.
Now, regarding this particular dispatching of the bandits, I'd like to know what impact this particular dispatching of bandits have, since it seems they have been dislodged from their hideout.
Yeah, they are following them to their hideouts because one of the residents that spoke with me said even last night they saw about 60 vehicles of the soldiers moving around the area. Probably they are the same team that dislodged this group of bandits and they rescue the kidnapped victims.
So technically, you'd say there is somewhat relative peace in the area, especially with the military intervention.
Certainly there is. Because the moment, the more people are seeing soldiers around them, the more they will feel comfortable and peace will be restored in the area.
Thank you so much for your insights, Yushau Adamu, Daily Trust Northwest Regional Editor, for joining us on the News Hour regarding this particular rescue operations in Safi town in Zamfara by military troops. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aisha.
More on security matters. President Bola Tinubu directed security agencies to rescue abducted Kaduna students without paying a dime to the abductors. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, made the directive known while briefing State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council meeting on Wednesday. Recall that over 280 pupils and teachers of Government Secondary School and LEA Primary School at Kuriga, Kaduna State, were abducted by bandits recently, triggering national outrage. The bandits reportedly invaded the Kuriga area of the Chikun local government area of Kaduna State, shooting at their victims before taking at least 280 students and teachers away. Still on security matters, about 30 villagers have been taken hostage by suspected bandits in Buda village of Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State. The heavily armed bandits raided the small settlement on Monday night and abducted the villagers. Although no casualties were reported, the bandits forced the victims into the forest and disappeared without a trace. The State Police Command is yet to confirm the incident. Meanwhile, gunmen launched an attack on cattle rearers on Tuesday afternoon, resulting in the death of at least 13 cattle in the Fan district of Ndim community, located in the Barikin Ladi local government area of Plateau State. Abubakar Gambo, the secretary of the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, confirmed the incident on Wednesday. He stated that the affected cattle died instantly at the scene of the attack. The incident prompted a quick response from Sector 4 Command of Operation Safe Haven in Barikin Ladi. Adam Musa completes the report.
The recent attack occurred precisely 1 week after another incident in which a herder was killed and over 100 cattle were killed and roasted in Nafandreji, also located in the Fan district of Barikin Ladi local government area of Plateau State. Following the initial incident, security operatives tasked with maintaining peace in the area had pledged to apprehend the perpetrators of the attack. Awal Ibrahim, one of the owners of the affected cattle, expressed deep concern over the latest attack. He called on the security agencies to take decisive action in response to the situation. Ibrahim noted that all the affected cattle died at the scene of the incident, emphasizing that there was no opportunity to slaughter them at the time of the attack.
There is a calculated attempt to stop us from grazing because last week there was an attempt, not even an attempt. Our cows was killed, over 100. The herder was killed, one injured. Thank God he has been discharged. A week just yesterday, one Anas Adam from village, rearing in Indim village, same Fan district of Barikin Ladi local government. Armed men suspected to be Birom men, when I shot 13 cows dead, reported to all the security agencies. They went and saw them, and 6 ran away with gunshots among the cows. This thing we are seeing is a calculated attempt so that the Fulani should react, because touching a cow is a problem to a Fulani man. But as a Fulanis, we will never take law into our hands. We are Nigerians, and Nigeria is being guided by a constitution. That is why everything that happens, we report to security and the government. And we are appealing to the government of the state, the local government, and the security agencies to come to the aid of these people that are now victims, so that to cushion the pains that these bad elements have caused them.
Muhammad Yakubu, one of the survivors of the recent attack, gives an account of the incident. We were attending to our cattle when suddenly 3 young men armed with guns descended on us and started shooting sporadically. We were lucky to have fled the scene of the incident unhurt, but 13 cattle were shot dead, while 6 were injured. But the publicity secretary of Birom Youth Mollahs Association, Rang Tengom, denied that their members were responsible of the attack, describing the attack on the herders as an act of criminality. Spokesperson of Operation Safe Haven, maintaining peace in the area, Major Samson Zakom, has not responded to the calls and SMS as of the time of filing this report. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Away from the security matters in Plateau State, the Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike on Wednesday addressed the Nigerian Senate on the state of security in the nation's capital, Abuja, saying the administration has been able to bring down the wave of insecurity. The closed-door meeting took place at the Senate chambers of the National Assembly in Abuja. This meeting was prompted by summons issued by the Senate 2 weeks prior requesting their briefing on security matters within the FCT following a recent kidnap incident at the Galadima area of the Abuja metropolis. Let's take a look at the report.
Speaking with journalists after the closed-door meeting, which lasted over 3 hours, the FCT minister informed the lawmakers that the recent arrest of two most-wanted kidnappers and intelligence-driven security has helped the administration to curtail insecurity in the territory. Wike, who said the level of kidnapping, among other crimes, may not be eradicated, with the involvement of family members arranging for the kidnapping of their fellow family members. However, assured more of infrastructural provision and improved security in the territory.
Most of the kidnappings to you here sometimes are managed by people. There are some internal arrangements. Take, for example, you have a housekeeper in the house, you have a driver who plot to kidnap the child of their master. In that case, what do you want us to do? All we can do is to say how the person has been kidnapped is being released. But to stop it will be difficult because it's an in-house arrangement.
Also speaking, Commissioner FCT Police Command Benedict Igwe noted that the force under his leadership and support of the Inspector General of Police Adeolu Egbetoku and FCT Minister Nyesom Wike will continue to comb the FCT border forests of the FCT of Niger, Kaduna, Nasarawa and Kogi State in order to reduce the burden of insecurity on the FCT.
All of them came to acknowledge that FCT is not secure. Recently, especially like many of them said there, since my assumption of office, they have seen changes, they have seen, and I give it to some of my boys, my colleagues in the other security outfit, because we have been working in synergy to ensure safety. We have gone extra miles to ensure safety.
Igwe also informed the correctional officer who shot and killed one of the handcuffed convicted offenders in Wuse Market on Tuesday has been arrested for interrogations.
So they were about to take them to the correctional centers when one of them, on handcuff, decided to jump down and took to his with the handcuff. So the correctional officers that were attached to the court was able to bring him down.
He added that normalcy has been restored to the market. Meanwhile, the Senate has received communication from President Bola Tinubu to screen and confirm the appointment of Ruby Onwudiwe as a member of the Board of Directors for the Central Bank of Nigeria. Tinubu's request is contained in a letter read by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, at the commencement of plenary on Wednesday. According to the letter, the nomination is in compliance with the provisions of Section 10, subsection 1 of the CBN Establishment Act 2007. Onwudiwe is to replace Urum Eke, who was earlier announced for the position to represent the Southeast on the CBN board, which he rejected due to other engagements.
While it is my hope, therefore, that the Senate will consider and confirm in its usual expeditious manner the appointment of Ruby Onwudiwe, PhD, please accept, distinguished Senate President and distinguished Senators, the assurances of my highest regards. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The matter was therefore referred to the Senate Committee on Banking and Other Financial Institutions for further legislative action.
President Bola Tinubu has directed the opening of Nigeria's land and air borders with the Republic of Niger, as well as the lifting of other sanctions against the country with immediate effect. A statement from the president's spokesman, Ajerin Galali, says the directive is in compliance with the decisions of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government at its extraordinary summit on February 24, 2024 in Abuja. ECOWAS leaders had agreed to lift economic sanctions against the Republic of Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso and Guinea. President Tinubu has also approved the lifting of financial and economic sanctions against the Republic of Guinea. And now joining us via phone is Haruna Warkani, a diplomat with the ECOWAS Commission. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. You're right.
Now, very quickly, weeks ago, ECOWAS lifted its sanctions on Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso without much reaction from the military juntas. What do you make of President Tinubu's directive on reopening the borders? Is it not a duplication of efforts?
Well, we wouldn't say it's a big question. It's just a fulfillment of agreement reached between the member states of the community in relation to the sanctions imposed. Yes, the lifting of these sanctions was unilateral following the exit of these countries, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, in line with our own request. What we would simply say is the effort for reconciliation, because we need this much more than any other thing. We have said earlier, these sanctions were imposed in error, and the lifting therefore is a healing of the wound. Sanctions between some of these countries was very unnecessary because one has always maintained the position that sanctions had been before. The European authority had made it. So since the sanctions were rather comprehensive, economic, financial, political, and even military, etc. Now that they have been lifted, yes, there is need for the president and chairman of the court to formally instruct Nigerian people to vote, which I think will bring about the citizens of this country on both sides of the border. And so some action and even security. I believe this will be so much more even for us there. So
we do apologize for that break in transmission. We couldn't properly hear Mr. Haruna Urkani, who was actually making a valuable insight to the discuss. And I'm moving away from that. Former governor of Anambra State and presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, is of the opinion that the Nigerian Senate still owes the people some explanations as regards the budget pardon scandal rocking the upper chambers at the moment. Obi said the claims and counterclaims over the alleged 3 trillion naira, which was pardoned into the 2024 budget, requires proper explanation as to what Nigerians must need to know regarding management of the nation's budget. The Senate, under the leadership of Senate President Godswill Akpabio, had on Tuesday suspended Senator Abdul Ningi over allegations of 3.7 trillion naira pardon of the 2024 budget. Addressing both the Senate and the presidency in a communique shared via X, Obi asserted that it is sacrosanct for every penny of Nigeria's public fund to be used for public good, adding that the alleged 3 trillion naira is more than the national budget of the two most critical components of the Human Development Index, namely health and education combined. He stressed that even if there is no 3 trillion naira as claimed, then the 1.2 trillion naira, which the executive branch admitted to have been pardoned, if channeled into any of the critical areas of development, could have positively impacted the nation and uplifted the people. Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed on Wednesday declared support for suspended Senator Abdul Ningi, saying his integrity is praiseworthy. According to a post on X, formerly Twitter, the governor made this known at the Bauchi State Executive Council meeting. In an interview, Ningi had claimed that the federal government is operating two versions of the 2024 budget and that the 28.7 trillion naira budget passed and signed into law by President Bola Tinubu was skewed against the North. Many senators and the presidency pound on Ningi, describing his claims as far-fetched and unbecoming of a leader of his status. The embattled lawmaker subsequently resigned as the chairman of the Northern Senators Forum, even as he was suspended by his colleagues in the Red Chamber for 3 months. This is a news hour on Trust Television, coming up after the break. Small businesses in Abuja decry negative impact of declining power supply on operations. We'll bring you insights and details of this story and more after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. But if you're just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust Television. Now let's take a look at a recap of some of our top stories. We told you that 10 abducted victims rescued in Zamfara as troops disband bandits. Plus, President Tinubu directs immediate reopening of Nigeria-Niger border, orders security personnel to rescue abducted Kaduna students without ransom. And now moving on to more stories. The federal government has indefinitely postponed the launch of the Nigerian Students' Loan Scheme, as confirmed by Akintunde Sawyer, the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, in an interview with Arise News. Originally scheduled to commence on Thursday, the launch has been delayed again due to ongoing corrections being made. Sawyer explained that there is no definite date for the commencement, as the government is waiting to ensure that all stakeholders are aligned to prevent any blindsiding, allowing the federal government to roll out the scheme in a meaningful, comprehensive, wholesome, and sustainable way. The bill to establish the Students' Loan Fund, signed into law by President Bola Tinubu in June 2023, aims to provide interest-free loans to Nigerians pursuing higher education. Initially planned to begin between September and October 2023, the scheme faced delays, with President Tinubu announcing a new start date of January 2024 after missing the October deadline. In January, Yusuf Sununu, Minister of State for Education, confirmed during a Federal Executive Council meeting that preparations for the scheme were complete, including the finalization of the Student Loan Scheme website and technical plans to facilitate its implementation. However, the postponement indicates that further alignment among stakeholders is needed before the scheme can be launched. The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities has resolved to embark on a one-week warning strike following the federal government's failure to honor the 2009 agreements reached with the union. At the end of an emergency meeting held in Kano, the chairman of the union in Bayero University, Kano, told his members that a nationwide strike will commence on Monday, 18th March 2024.
As I've been mentioned, part of the renegotiation of 2009 agreement, the issue of 25 and 35% on salary increment, minimum wage arrears, and the issue of the 50 billion the government has promised to give as an issue of allowances. To this time, the government has not said anything. So we are still waiting for the government to respond. Otherwise, as you are aware, the only language the government understands is strike.
Experts in social and behavioral change have emphasized the need for Nigerians to imbibe national values as a way of fostering peace and unity. This, according to them, aims to lower structural barriers that hinder people from adopting positive practices and hinder societies from becoming more equitable, cohesive, and peaceful. Neil Sampson, in this report, takes a look at what the government is doing to make every Nigerian imbibe national values.
From a psychological point of view, social behavior helps to promote emotional well-being, while those who look for order in the society as a whole believe social behavior is desirable generally, because it means that people will cooperate while systems can run effectively, hence the need for national values to be imbibed in every.
All our issues, name them, kidnapping, insecurity, terrorism, whatever, you name, corruption, they are all attitudinal issues. And it's for people to have the right kind of attitude. They must have values that they subscribe to. Unfortunately for us in this country, we have not evolved national values. Until we have national values that we all are defined by, we cannot continue to just talk about symptoms.
The federal government says it is taking steps to imbibe behavioral change among its citizens in partnership with relevant organizations.
So we are expecting the president by April will unveil the National Values Charter that the National Orientation Agency under the umbrella of the Ministry of Information and National Orientation have worked on. So the National Values Charter defines clearly who a Nigerian is. So we all expect that after the unveiling of this value charter, we understand clearly who we are and what the expected attitude from all of us are. So we can clearly say those who are misrepresenting us are not the real Nigerians.
It's a synergy that both the organizations bring together. Primarily our roles around social and behavior change, engaging with communities to kind of bring them, rally them together to access the government services, but most importantly to bring about lasting change for the citizens of Nigeria and especially for women and children of Nigeria.
Behavioral change can also engender more productive and successful outcomes in work and careers, leading to positive changes in communities and the world at large. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria is facing challenges in preparing Nigeria's contingent for the 2024 Hajj due to its inability to secure the remaining funds required to pay service operators in Saudi Arabia. Despite having concluded all contracts for the Hajj operation, the Commission is encountering obstacles in making payments to providers responsible for feeding, accommodation, and transportation during the pilgrimage. Nahakon had previously disclosed that the Saudi Arabian Ministry of Hajj and Umrah had set February 25 as the deadline for signing all contracts, which marked the cessation of payments into international bank account number accounts. However, as 2 weeks have passed since the kingdom began issuing visas, the Commission still struggles with payment issues. The depreciation of the Naira is identified as a significant factor contributing to this challenge. Furthermore, uncertainty surrounding whether President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would approve a subsidized dollar rate adds to the apprehension about potential fare increases for the pilgrimage. In Benue State, the period preceding the rainy season sees farmers preparing the land for cultivation. Recall that many farmers have been displaced from their ancestral farmlands by the killer herdsmen and militant groups. With herders still grazing freely on the lands, Benue farmers feel Governor Hyacinth Alia is not doing enough to secure their farmlands. Trust TV's Jimmy Ozande has more.
There is an atmosphere of fear following the surge of attacks on farming communities by suspected herders in Benue State. Some residents of the state say Governor Hyacinth Alia has so far not demonstrated the political will to solve the farmer-herders crisis, which is a major concern for Benue farmers.
There are two major aspects. The aspect of governance and the aspect of politics. So whoever emerges a leader must try to balance between the political interplays and then the governance of the state. And you are aware that what benefits the masses is governance, not the political aspect of it. So the problem now is that, in trying to balance up, the governor of the state, for instance, will have to try to bridge the gap between governance and politics.
While acknowledging security as everyone's business, the residents are also calling on herders to embrace the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law.
I have learned in 60s, 70s, you will see a Fulani man will come to Benue State, a dry season like this time around, with his whole family. But this time around, the one that came in, they are below 30 years, and nobody is having a wife. And they will come in the midnight, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So that is suspicious. Very suspicious.
Some of our key persons who are religious leaders don't want to talk about for reasons that we may understand. Our political leaders are also resistant talking about climate change because they seem to fear that if they emphasize the impact of climate change, there are traditional arguments against or in favor of the farmer-herder issues may have to be modified, and they are not happy with the modifications.
While a few peasant farmers are clearing their lands close to urban or semi-urban settlements, the majority of the farmers cannot access their farmlands for fear of being attacked. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has allocated 100 billion naira and 2.15 million bags of fertilizers to the Ministry of Agriculture to cushion the effects of high prices of food in the country. Governor of the Apex Bank, Olayemi Cardoso, disclosed this during a meeting with the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mohammed Abubakar, and the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, at the ministry's headquarters in Abuja on Wednesday. Cardoso said the Apex Bank believed that providing support to farmers would help mitigate high food prices currently bedeviling the nation. On his part, Abubakar welcomed development, saying the partnership would further guarantee food security in the country. Cardoso called for active partnerships to ensure stability in the prices of food items. Cardoso also reiterated CBN's commitment to prioritizing price stability and instilling confidence in the Nigerian economy by upholding consumer price stability and ensuring a balanced foreign exchange market. Of Kamba are lamenting over the long-term hardship as prices of food items and transportation continues to soar, a situation they attributed to the removal of fuel subsidy and closure of borders. Evelyn Garba reports.
Since the removal of fuel subsidy in Nigeria, citizens have been exposed to hardship and high cost of living. Residents living around the border communities are not left out. They are complaining that food items are getting more expensive, while the ban on importation of these food items is affecting their businesses.
We are experiencing a decrease in customers. Bringing safer has severely affected our business. Additionally, the unfavorable exchange rate of the naira to the dollar has worsened the situation. Previously, exchanging 1 million naira could yield 3 million sefa, but now it takes 3 million naira to get 1 million sefa, leading to diminished capital. There is an urgent need for the border to reopen, as the current closure has caused significant hardship. Despite hearing about the border reopening, we are yet to witness it.
Business owners trading within the border community also lament that the high exchange rate is affecting their purchase of foods and transportation of goods from neighboring countries. According to them, the high cost of living was further exacerbated by sanctions on Niger Republic, a result of military coup that toppled the administration of Mohamed Bazoum.
The border has not been officially reopened. There has been a gradual relaxation of restrictions. Previously, bringing even a bag of rice to the market was challenging, but now there is some ease in trading activities. The primary concern for US is not the ECOWAS ban, but rather the impact of the forex exchange. The fluctuating exchange rates have significantly affected our ability to conduct business.
What we are facing a lot. Every day if you come to market, you come with money now. Like last week I come to buy maize. I come with 50,000, but this week I come with 50,000. The money is too much. The bag of maize now is 62,000. If you want to buy, you buy. If you will not buy, you will leave it, because they will not reduce everything. Every night they used to add money.
Despite the sanction being lifted, the border still remains closed, and all effort to get any official to comment on the matter did not yield result. However, report has it that Niger has announced her permanent withdrawal from ECOWAS to form the Alliance of Sahel States.
Epileptic power supply has grounded businesses in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja, with those affected lamenting the negative impact on their operations. Speaking to Trust TV on Wednesday, welders in Abuja said they have resorted to the use of generators in order to remain in business as power supply has almost hit zero. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
The persistent power glitches in Abuja have been attributed to vandalism of transmission installations, with severe consequences on artisans who depend on electricity to remain in business. 39-year-old Christopher runs a welding workshop in the Jabi area of Abuja, but the current blackout in Abuja is nearly pushing him out of business.
So at times you stay from morning till night, you cannot get light. 2 days safe, you cannot get light. It's only at times they will bring it early in the morning, they will take it. So right now, the thing is not strong. If there will be electricity right now constantly in Nigeria, at least it will reduce the hardship. It will reduce we using more of fuel.
Obinna and his colleagues are now compelled to spend funds beyond their usual budget to sustain their operations.
Every day we do spend more than 10 liters to 12 liters every day. And you know what it's worth, up to 10,000 naira every day to work per day. So it's too much for us. Inside the market, you may bargain 20,000 naira of work now. You go next 2 hours, it will increase. So we find it difficult for we to do our work.
We cannot make use of light because of the situation of the country. So the light is not, they don't give us light. And the diesel we are using is expensive per liter. Before, we are buying 5 liter, 1,000 naira. But now, for us to get 5 liter now, it's 8,500. So the price is too much for us. Even we are affecting our work.
In addition to crippling commercial activities of Nigerians who struggle to survive the impact of the general cost of living crisis, the Abuja blackout is making the city more hostile for the residents.
You don't know the difference between 12, 8, 9, 10. No light. If they bring the light, 30, if it's up to 30 minutes, you thank God. The next thing is off. Join this heat that we are passing through. Everything is right up. You can't say you want to come outside and relax. The same thing. So no light. I can. In fact, I will just give it 10 over 100.
Despite series of meetings between the federal government and the electricity distribution companies, it seems there is no end in sight with regards to the poor electricity supply in the nation's capital. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Director for Nigeria, Shubham Chaudhry, has lauded Nigeria's significant gains from World Bank interventions, highlighting Jigawa State's exemplary commitment to addressing development challenges. Governor Umar Namadi also received praise for the state's maturity and political will in transforming key areas through effective policies. The report.
Expressing gratitude for the World Bank's support, Governor Namadi emphasized the fruitful 3-decade partnership between Jigawa and the World Bank. He, however, advocated for reforms and a revised approach to enhance the impact of the bank's assisted programs on poverty, unemployment, and hunger. Governor Namadi, while emphasizing the importance of human capital development, is also seeking tailored assistance in these priority areas to amplify positive outcomes for the state's residents.
On behalf of the people of and government of Jigawa State, who are directly beneficiaries of all the World Bank assisted intervention in the state, we heartily welcome you and your team. We believe the visit will not only strengthen the development partnership and collaboration between Jigawa State and the World Bank, but will also open a new frontiers of development for the state. For over 3 decades since the creation of Jigawa State in August 1991, there was not a time when there was no World Bank assisted program in Jigawa State.
The World Bank Country Director Shubham Chaudhry assured the governor of the World Bank's continued collaboration, acknowledging the state's focus on education, agriculture, empowerment, and health.
I think that's the most fundamental mission of the World Bank, to help our member countries make progress on this very simple yet often very challenging mission, eliminating extreme poverty and making lives better for everyone. Now, in the case of Nigeria, which is now our largest program of the World Bank anywhere, we've been providing about $3 billion in concessional financing for Nigeria over each of the last 4 years. and much of that financing flows down to the states.
The World Bank team engaged with heads of MDAs to assess ongoing programs aiming to refine strategies and ensure optimal results. The collaborative effort underscores a commitment to fostering sustainable development, eradicating poverty, and improving the overall well-being of Jigawa State's populace.
And now to the Green Chambers. The House of Representatives Committee on Finance has raised concerns over rising costs of crude oil production amidst low output and reduced revenue to the federal government for over a decade. Chairman of the committee, James Faleke, raised the concern in an opening remark at a meeting with the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited on the impact of crude oil production and government revenue on Tuesday. Faleke said it is important for Nigerians to understand the impact of production costs on the available revenue accruable to the federal government to execute its programs in the national budget. The Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPCL, Mele Kyari, while responding, noted that there are several illegal crude oil vessels which were intercepted by security agencies.
So, everybody, the bottom line here today is that we want to see how we make, at least, when we sell crude at $80 or $79 or whatever prices, but we incur costs on paper at $48. What it means is that whatever is left is what is available for the federation. And so we expect the NNPC to throw more light to this, whether this cost is true or not.
Initially, vessels are arrested, taken to naval dockyards, across the country in very many locations. Supply anywhere that you have a well, it's a litter, Mr. Chairman, of vessels today now. There are hundreds in these locations today, Mr. Chairman. Not just 100, there are hundreds. And you can validate this from the Nigerian Navy. We don't even know what to do with them.
Also, the House of Representatives has expressed concern over the current hike in the price of cement and called for an urgent investigation into the matter. This followed a motion moved by Representative Gaza Jonathan Gwerfi, in which he lamented the arbitrary increase in the price of cement. For details of this and other issues raised at the House during Wednesday's plenary, here is a report.
In his motion, the lawmaker who represents Karu Kefi, Kokona Federal Constituency of Nasarawa State, noted that manufacturers of cement in the country are inflicting hardships on Nigerians, adding that urgent action must be taken to address the situation.
The manufacturers of cement have capitalized on exchange volatility to arbitrarily increase the price of the product, whose cost of production has not changed significantly since last year.
A heated debate on the motion followed with lawmakers expressing divergent views on the current economic hardship across the country.
Cement is smuggled to Cameroon through Chad, Niger Republic. Mr. Speaker, go to Madagali in Adamawa State. You will see how these cements are produced for the purpose of sustaining Nigerian economy.
The price of cement is astronomical. It could be due to factors of production. We don't know. I do not think those guys, it's two ways. Either they are an oligopoly that want to exploit people, or that their hands are tied.
The issue of cement is that of monopoly. The two biggest manufacturers are holding Nigerians to ransom. They bought government companies from Sokoto Cement to Benue Cement, are all government properties.
In another development, a bill seeking the establishment of the National Institute for Construction, Technology and Management, Itele, Ogun State, has passed a second reading in the House of Representatives. The lawmakers on Wednesday debated the general principles of the bill and passed it for second reading. The bill, sponsored by Folorunsho Asegbeson, proposes to establish the National Institute to provide technical know-how in the field of construction, engineering and management and other to boost the level of technological manpower in the country.
This bill is born out of a desire to situate a national institute of construction technology and management in Tele, Ogun State, to provide for courses and provide full-time courses of instruction and training in construction technology, engineering technology, applied sciences, management sciences, and other fields of study for the rest of Tele, Ogun State, and for Nigeria in general.
Also, the House of Representatives has urged the federal government to expedite the completion of the investigation of the suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. The House also called for the deployment of a 7-Minister of State to oversee relevant approvals and implementation of the National Social Investment Program in order to minimize the adverse implication of increasing hunger and sufferings experienced by vulnerable Nigerians relying on the program. The House of Representatives urged the federal government to place on hold the alleged idea of a new steering committee board under the supervision of the Ministry of Finance to oversee the social investment programs, since such idea contravenes the extant law which positions the implementing agency and program under the purview of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. The resolution was passed to call to the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance sponsored by Billy Osawaru, who expressed concern that halting the implementation of the program, particularly during this period of increasing hardship, has implications of heightening the challenges of the vulnerable population.
The House also aware that as a result of the above, the implementation of all forms of government intervention, such as the Empower Program, Conditional Cash Transfer Program, Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, and Homegrown School Feeding Program that are expected to ameliorate the suffering of people were placed on hold.
Edu was suspended by President Bola Tinubu over alleged misappropriation of funds from the National Social Investment Program.
For some business news, let's join Yusuf Akogo.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogo. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has again increased the exchange rate for the calculating custom duties at the country's seaport by 1.9% amid the Naira crisis. Data on the official portal of the Nigeria Customs Service indicated that the rate was raised from 1,593 to 1,624 on Tuesday. The implication is that importers who opened Form M on Tuesday will pay more to clear their goods as import duties are benchmarked against the dollar. Port users have rejected the policy of using the exchange rate on Form M for import duty payment because it will add more challenges to the trade process. Nigeria Port Authority (NPA) say cargo inflow into the country has increased by 200% to 900,000 20-foot equivalent units from 300,000 20-foot equivalent units due to the ongoing port reform. The managing director of NPA, Mohammed Bello Koko, disclosed this while speaking at the breakfast meeting organized by Maritime Reporters Association of Nigeria. Koko said government is currently dealing with both institutional and infrastructural reform that is expected to increase cargo inflow into the country and expand the economy. Despite efforts by the federal government to increase oil production, the nation's output excluding condensate dropped month-on-month by 7% to 1.3 million barrels per day in February 2024 from 1.4 million barrels per day recorded in January. Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries (OPEC) in its March monthly oil market report showed that Nigeria output remains flat. Experts say Nigeria's total output could be in excess of 1.6 million barrels per day as the nation has the capacity to produce between 300,000 and 400,000 barrels per day of condensate. Now to the stock market. Now, equities market closed business on Wednesday in positive territory as banking stocks see renewed interest from investors. Let's look at how it went down today. The top gaining equities at the close of market today are Julius Berger Nigerian PLC, which gained 10% to close at 67 naira and 10 kobo per share. Of course, ETI also gained 10% as well to close at 22 naira per share. Of course, NEM Insurance closed at 9.92% to close at 6 naira and 65 kobo per share as well. And this has moved the market on the upward trajectory, 0.39% there. It closed at the close of business today. Of course, the all share index is climbing gradually to where it were over 100 basis points. Currently, it's at 104 1,014.32 basis points. Indeed, volume of trade at the end of business today, 314.301 million shares. The value at 8.787 billion naira in a days of 9,417. Indeed, it's a low trade this Wednesday. Top trading equities, talking about the market movers, we have the Unity Bank of Nigeria PLC leading the activities table there. 37.178 million shares he traded. Transcorp Nigeria PLC 35.284 million shares, and of course JITCO Guaranty Trust Bank Holding Company trading 25.935 million shares. Of course, at the end of the day, of course, there are some equities that didn't do well today. They ended up on the losing side. One of them is Sky Aviation, losing 10% to close at 22 naira and 95 kobo per share. Suno Assurance, 1 naira and 41 kobo per share, ended to close at 9.62% on the day. Computer Warehouse Group (CWG) closed in the negative territory, 9.45% to close at 5 naira and 75 kobo per shares. Indeed, so the highlight of the stock trading as it went down this Wednesday on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Let's look at the stock market from the rest of the world. Now to the FX market. Now, Naira depreciated marginally against the US dollar at the foreign exchange market on Wednesday. Here are today's data. By potential supply disruption after Ukraine attacks on Russia refineries, signs of strong demand and hopes that the Federal Reserve might start cutting interest rates soon despite sticky US inflation. And in London market, the Brent crude sells for $83 per barrel. For the pearl basket, price steadies at $82 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogo.
Thank you so much, Yusuf Akogo. And away from Nigeria now. The United Kingdom's government is considering plans to pay asylum seekers whose applications have failed up to 3,000 British pounds to move to Rwanda. The proposed scheme, part of a deal struck with Rwanda, was drawn up by ministers with the aim of clearing a backlog of tens of thousands of asylum seekers who have been refused the right to stay but cannot be returned to countries deemed unsafe. And with that, we've come to the end of the news hour on Trust Television. Thank you so much for watching. Do not forget, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I'm Aisha Salihu.